Howdy. So I am still working. I'm still working on a rush awareness. I finished coverage awareness. Came out pretty good. Coverage awareness was doing good. I got my accuracy done and tested. I mean, that's kind of where I got detoured in during the course of today and yesterday. I decided to go ahead and start working on my tests for those, and they're loading up good. I've got them in my testing state. Rush awareness is one that I'm still trying to knock out. It's another one. It's pretty simple. It really just kind of comes down to how often do these guys get sacked, right? So I don't want, a quarterback that's pretty good at avoiding being sacked. Hey, Crossbow, how you doing, man? A quarterback who's good at not being sacked is one that has a pretty good rush awareness. Really, that's all it is. So I think what it comes down to is trying to figure out the best stats to include. Now, I've got a few already built in my original state rush awareness right here. So it sacks on pass attempts. Oh, am I? Oh, I was messing with my camera earlier. I probably bumped it, turned it. Oh, I see what's going on. Oh, huh. Yeah, that's not off screen. That's like totally. What the heck, man? What is going on? Like, what is going on with that, man? That's like not even. Why? Why is that? Why is that like that? All right, I got definitely something going on here. Huh. All right, something. Oops. Honestly, I don't know how. Oh, nope, I don't know. I was thinking I had an idea what that was. Um, yeah, there you go. Let's push that back a bit. There you go. Ah, there you go. Back on. Anyway, I was trying to. You like this shirt is from what do you call it? Bishop's Castle in Colorado. Now, Bishop's Castle is a castle this guy made down in a one man. Well, I think his family helped a little bit, but it was mostly just him before he even had a family. Uh, in Pueblo, Colorado. If you ever go, you should check this thing out. He built a castle. I mean, it's the stones, the whole bit, and he's even got like a little dragon on the top. But the thing is, it's an amazing accomplishment for one man. It's actually, if you look up Bishop's Castle online, supposedly it's like the largest. What do they say? The largest castle ever built. Something about one guy building it, and it is scary. It is scary. I mean, literally, it is scary. I don't know. I feel like the guy was just like throwing stuff together over time. And although it's sturdy. It's made with big stones and rocks and whatever other materials he used. He uses a lot of rebar and this. He passed away a couple of years ago, but um, it's oh yeah no. In fact, all over the site, there's all these signs up that say, you know, if you come on this land, you're what is it? You need to agree that you are fully taking on your own risk. This is not a public land. You do not If you're not willing to accept full responsibility for anything that happens on this land, stay off. You're trespassing. And it has all these like warnings everywhere. Don't go anywhere near this thing if you don't want. And when you go, it's packed. People just go, okay. They just go. I don't know if anybody's ever fallen off, but it feels like you're gonna fall off in places. I mean, there's you're walking across some of these like bridges, these rebar bridges that just I mean, not everything's even covered up. So you're like walking across and you can just like, it's a good 50 feet to the ground probably. The thing's probably 60 or 70 feet tall. And so when you go up to the top, there's this stone like spiral staircases that go up. Some places they turn into this rebar step. So in other words, there's not even a stone there. And some of those rebar like they have the rebar and then there's these wire or not wire, metal grates that go across them. And some of those metal grates have broke and they're just holes. So you're like stepping over these holes and you're climbing up this thing. It's pretty high. And when you come out, they're the spires, right? So if you got the castles, they have the big towers, the big spires. So when you pop out at the top, you're just standing on top of this spire. And there's a couple of rebar poles that go up and you can grab on. But there's like nothing. You got the little, the castle shaped, ridges that go around the top. But you're standing on this thing. And the only thing keeping you from falling to the ground is your balance, which you're probably losing if you have any fear of heights, and your ability to hold on to those bars. So you pop out and you're holding the bar and you're like looking down, you're like, hey, check it out, or something. My wife, she's terrified of heights. She won't even go on this thing. She won't even walk up the first levels or whatever. She just, nope, not doing it. Nope, no thanks. And but people bring their dogs and stuff, and it's like, we were there and there was these people, they brought their dogs, these little like Chihuahua, or not Chihuahuas, but like little like wiener dogs. And these poor dogs couldn't even get up the steps. They had to be picked up because the steps were too tall. I was like, what are you doing bringing your dogs here? They don't know. They can't even, they're not even the size dogs that could climb these steps. It was, they're like, and when they did try the few steps they could, they're all 4-leg jump, trying to jump up on these things. Crazy. And then you go up and there's these big rooms and you go up into the rooms and there's like broken out stained glass and you're looking out. But the dragon that he built is this metal tube thing and it's pretty cool looking. And it comes out the end, and at night sometimes they light it and it breathes fire out. Out into the, they usually do it only like on special occasions and sometimes, at night, whatever, but it's like there's no planned when they're going to do it, so good luck. But yeah, it's crazy. I did see one time the fire breathing thing go off. Somebody set it off and that's pretty slick. Anyway, I've been there like 3 times, and because I have family down in that area, and I would take them to go sightsee. We go look at Bishop's Castle. First time I went because I had never been, and the second time I went, I took my wife, and the third time I went, I took my kids. I might have even been there 4 times. I don't know, but anyway, I finally decided to get a T-shirt. long story longer. Yeah, I finally decided to just go ahead and get a T-shirt because we were down there last time. That's one of the things I was doing this last summer. Anyway, so I figured out my coverage awareness. Now I was trying to figure out rush awareness, and I'm bringing in, I got to go get some, now this is not, that's not a thing. We're going to go player stats. Oh wait, no. Dot. Where are you? Oh. Sure enough, man. Sure enough. Let's see. We're going to do player stats dot get sacks allowed? I think it's sacks allowed. Might be wrong. Let's go get my offensive team offensive stats, set defensive stats. Offensive stats. Pass attempts, completions. NTDs, thrown, sacks, pass attempts, completions, running back skills. Nope. I gotta go find out. I don't think I have this one loaded. And passing. And passing, oh, there it is. Sack. Here we go. Maybe I will also. Oh, I know. I'll include the yards lost. I think that also implies that you're pretty good at you're pretty good or pretty aware of the rush. Sometimes you get sacked, but it's how well you respond to that. You know, you notice the rush, but if you lost a ton of yards, you're just like you're oblivious, right? So you're just like a guy who gets sacked a bunch. So give me skills. We'll just go. I guess I'll stick it here. Oops. Heck. What are you going to? Is it that time of the day already? Makes sense. Where are you from, Crossbow? What? I mean, what's the country? Do you work like weird? Oh, near midnight. Oh, okay, so, man, you must be Europe. Oh, UK. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Floats. Get sacks allowed. Now, 64-bit floats. Huh. Don't know what you're referring to, man. Oh. God. I'm so used to seeing it, my mind has already erased it. It's just like everywhere. All my numbers are floats. And I'm like, my brain is totally forgotten about them. So when you, as you say that, I'm like, oh, geez, yeah, it's pretty obvious, I guess. Yeah, and they have them in a lot of places too. All right, that's sacks allowed. Okay, so I have that, and then we also have to have let's see, sack yards lost equals players stats against sack yards lost. And that's going to be over here. Now, have you been here? Lean? Nah, I haven't lost a pound since, I can't remember the last time I lost a pound. Well, I mean, I lose a little bit. I fluctuate between about 180 and 185. That's pounds. So I'm not like 200 something kilograms in your lingo. It has been a while. So you know that I'm working on a football game, right? I mean, you could probably get the hint from all the little hints, the little images all over my screen. But you haven't been around since I started this project. I started it pretty much started it last November. So I'm coming close to a year, and I'm hoping to have. I have goals and objectives to have a um, very basic, just introductory demo by the end of September. Something I can kind of show off that I've got something happening. But this is an American football game, not soccer, not that soccer stuff that you guys do over there. But it's it's been a interesting road. I've been working on it quite a bit, a lot, in fact, and it's coming together. As far as working out goes, though, I have been working out regularly. I haven't. I just haven't streamed. I haven't had anything to stream since I finished my Cali Move workout. Now I've just been doing basically free for all. You know, I go run, go to the gym. It's just miscellaneous stuff now, and I just kind of I haven't. As you, I'm sure you're probably aware because it happened over a year ago, a year and a half almost. I've been out of work. So I haven't been spending extra money too much. I've been keeping that to a bare minimum, and so I haven't. Like normally, what I would do is I'd buy someone's workout program and give it a go. Just try it, and then, give my opinion on the whole thing. Or for a long time, I was subscribed to Beachbody and Peloton, and they had a bunch of workouts on their sites, and I was doing those workouts. But now I don't have those services anymore. Got rid of those. Got to clean up the chaff when you're trying to make money stretch, and so yep, that's been me lately, and it's been rough finding work these days, man. Nobody's hiring me. I say nobody's hiring developers, which is kind of sort of true. I know a few developers who've been out of work for a really long time. And so, yes, but there are people still being hired. I'm just not one of them. I mean, thing is, when you go apply for a job, it always says stuff like 250 people have applied for this job. 362 people have applied for this job. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm basically like playing the lottery. It's like, all right, let's submit my resume. All right, baby, give it to me. No. Oh, well, let's just submit another one and another one. And I've submitted like, I don't know, 200, 300 resumes. And to be honest, in the last few weeks, even I probably submitted maybe 5, 10 in the last 3 months. It's just, I'm just like, get this game done, get this game done, get this game done, get it going. Because some people do manage to start getting income once they have demos. And you can get a publisher's backing, you can get your viewers backing. Not me, because I've only got like 160 viewers on YouTube and 190 on Twitch, I think. So yeah, I'm probably not going to get money that way, but if I can get a publisher who's interested in backing the game, I could potentially do this for a couple of years working on it and get it out. But it's going to come down to finding someone who's interested in backing it. And thing is, monetization. I don't want to do phone monetization. I want this to be on the phone, but I don't want to do phone monetization because phone monetization sucks. That's all of the paywalls and all of the microtransactions and all that garbage. And I do have some ideas for things I could put on there, but I want people to play the game. I want it to be available. So what I'm thinking about doing is it's going to be a PC game, which people are used to paying for PC games outright. And then I will have like fees to be able to like buy the phone extension, which will be the phone that you can play the game through your phone, but it might have a couple of extra little features and functionalities that are phone specific, just so that it stands out a little bit. And it'd be like a $10 add-on. Like it's not like a whole nother game. And then the phone game also would be a demo, right? You could play it, but until you buy the full game on PC, you can't like constantly play it. You get like maybe 2 weeks of play, or you can do some small things or whatever. I want people to be able to play it. I was just going to do free and then try to figure out how to monetize, but it's just I don't want to be that kind of game, the kind that requires people to keep throwing money at it to play, paywalls and pay ceilings and pay to wins, and it's just no, don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. I want a good game and just people play it. So yeah, that's the plan. Where was I? Oh yeah, I gotta put sax. Sax allowed. There it is. I already have sax allowed. I just didn't map it somewhere. Huh. All right. So how about sack yards lost? Oh, I do have sack yards lost. What the heck, man? I already got these. Oh, these are team stats. Oh, that's why. No. I gotta put these. This here is the back end to my football game. So this is a service that's going to provide all of the skills for the individual players in the leagues. And I've got like 11 services here. So I've got players and playbook and league, gateway, game plan, coach, authentication, and of course the users. Oh yeah, and then the initialization and the streaming service. The streaming service is cool. That's got some cool functionality in it. User account, and then the simulation, of course, because there will be game simulation in it, and that's what this is for. But yeah, that's what all these are. So I've got like 12, I think now, services. Now these services are all on the back end. So whatever UI I create, PC, phone, web, Apple phone, if I go that way. If I do it on the Android, I'll probably try to do an Apple one. But there's so many hoops and crap to jump through for mobile. I don't know if I want to do it. Anyway, besides the point, whatever I use will all use the same backend. So that allows me to have my game kind of cross-platform available. So when you play with other people, it'll all work together. Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about trying to get stuff on the Apple Store. And yeah, you can make money on there if you're willing to do the microtransactions and garbage, but I feel like it's just not me. I don't like it. When I play games on the phone, I want a game I could just play the dang thing, and hitting walls all the time, paywalls, it's really irritating. There's very few games that do a good job of that. Yeah. Oh, it'd be even worse to put it on Apple. No, I'm talking about Apple phones. I would not. I will not compile this to work on Macs. Sorry, guys. If you're a Mac user, sorry. Buy a PC if you want to play my game, or use a Android, because that's gonna be first. But that said, I do plan to have some version of a web version. It'll probably be less graphically cool, but there will be some amount of a web version as well. Because actually I have a lot of my original development to this game was on the web. So I have a good chunk of stuff already on the web. And so I will focus on that more once I get these key back-end parts. So once I start plugging everything in. Yeah, iPhone is, that's why I say iPhone will be like my fourth destination. I'll have web, I'll have Android, I'll have PC, and then someday I'll have the iPhone extension. So yeah, it's probably not. And as far as workouts go and streams, yes, someday I will do more streams. I just have to decide what exactly I want to do for streams, because there's so many people out there doing workout streams. I mean, it's not even, unless you're doing something kind of niche, kind of cool, different from everybody else. There's some guys out there, girls out there they have some nice gyms. They do good workouts. They're buff. they got it all. But they're just doing random stuff. Most of them, it seems like it's mostly just random stuff. And there's plenty of just random stuff doers. I'm not a guy who likes to to put my effort into something everybody else is doing. So unless I'm doing something kind of unique or niche, that's why my thing was doing these, you know, pay for workouts and going through the motions and showing them online. But maybe I'll go through some of the ones I've already completed at some point. I don't know. Maybe I'll even do some videos because they'd be pretty easy videos to do, I'd imagine. But yeah, so trying to figure out how to do it. I don't know. The streaming it was fun, but it's just finding time, because this game is taking all my time. I work out, I'm on this. Sometimes I'm even doing this while I'm working out. So like I'll work out and then I'm doing work, and then I work out and doing work. That's like between sets, I'd be like, all right, let's try to knock out this little thing. And then my watch goes off. Time's up. Go do another set. Come back. All right, AI, help me figure this thing out. And then go back. I've done that a few times where my workout takes my hour and a half workout will take 5 hours because I'm I'm doing stuff. I'm working for 5 or 10 minutes between sets. It's like, oh, I gotta go. Well, at least on each set I'm like full power, right? So I get full effort into every set. And but it ends up taking me 3 or 4 hours to get an hour-long workout done. All right. So let's close this thing and go back over to get off. No, that's team again. I want team. Oh, I think it's this one I want. Yeah, that's the one. All right. QB skills. All right, so we're going to go here. Sacks allowed. It's not sacks allowed here. It's SK. And then we have to do one for sack yards lost. Very good, very good. But it's not, it's LST. Yeah, that's kind of like how I am now, because so when I started this project, I knew C sharp. I'm a C sharp guy. My 20 plus years of development skill experience is all in C sharp and SQL Server, Visual Basic, .NET, Access. I mean, that's way back, but ASP and even some VB script. Yes, VB script. But that was where all of my skill was. In C sharp, my skill was C sharp framework, .NET framework. And now, of course, they're doing .NET Core, right? Which isn't that different. It's a little bit different, but I mean, I don't think it's a big jump. Problem is when HR people, okay, so you got managers who say, I need somebody who knows .NET framework, .NET Core, C sharp. HR does not know that that's really just minor syntax, and it's a little bit of syntax and structure change for, but ultimately, if you know C sharp, you could probably do Core, right? So if you know .NET framework, it's not a big jump to go do .NET Core, C sharp. But HR doesn't know that. They just go, oh, we want .NET framework Core. Well, this guy only has .NET framework. He doesn't have .NET Core. So we don't want him. But then you can't say you know .NET Core if you only know .NET framework. So you can't say, okay, well, I'm 99% sure I can do .NET Core, right? But they're not going to call you because you don't have .NET Core on your resume. And if you do have it on there, they call you, and then you're like, well, I mean, I know .NET Core. I mean, I know C sharp. It's not that big of a jump, but that doesn't work that way. So anyway, HR people don't know the difference. All they do is look at the keywords, and then that's what the manager wants. That's what they're going to go look for. So it becomes a little tricky. But anyway, I have all those years of experience, right? Well, when I started doing this software development, this game is using React, Go, which, by the way, until last December, I had never heard of Go. I didn't know what Go was. I mean, I probably heard the word somewhere. I had no idea what they were talking about. Unity, which again, I've never done game development, so I was unsure which game engines to even use. I mean, I had heard of Unreal Engine. Everybody's heard of Unreal Engine. But Unity, I don't think I was even really aware of Unity, even though it's like this one of the top 2 most popular game engines. And Godot being 3, which again, had never heard of it. And then, I'm using Mongo database, which I had never worked in before at all, ever. I mean, my company I was last working at had a Mongo database service that they were working on or building, but I had never really worked on it. And I'll tell you, getting data out of Mongo database is not as easy as SQL. SQL's just so much. SQL's just selects and all of the SQL language, SQL Server language is just clear and obvious. MongoDB is not clear and obvious. I mean, you're really just reading JSON data, right? It's just pulling all it is the JSON documents, and it's got a language to read those JSON documents out. It's really all Mongo is. And again, not really my thing. I had never really spent much time with JSON. A couple times here and there I'd load stuff up, but it was rarely ever anything I used. So all the languages I'm working in, I had never done any, and I had decided, well, I'm doing a game. So I started doing research, talking to AI and Google and going, all right, well, what's the most popular game engine? What's the best way to create a platform where I could work both, have something that works on both Android and other apps, so that people could play cross-play and compete against each other. What are the tools that everybody's using? And it told me this is the most popular for this, the most popular items for that. And then I picked which ones I thought were going to fit my needs the best. And I said, fine, let's do Go. Let's do React. Let's do Unity. Let's do whatever. And so my prototype, I had spent a few months in Unity, or not Unity, but React. So I decided to do my prototype, my initial prototype. Proof of concept is really all it was, where all I did was create a game. If you go look at like one of my earliest videos on this, which is last November, you'll see that I had developed this little, basically it's a random numbers thing that would run all these plays, and you would score touchdowns, and the scores would change as the game went on, and it was kind of cool. But finally I had to say, all right, well, it's time to make an actual game. So everything I started doing started being built, and I started creating the servers and learning how to use Go, and AI guided the path. But being a developer, I quickly learned AI is not great. I mean, it's really good at teaching you. It's even really good at typing out the basics of a function or stuff, a function or whatever purpose you need. But you have to spend a lot of time refactoring, cleaning, organizing. I am a guy, I can't stand sloppy code. And if I see something weird, so there early in the first few months of this, I was constantly restructuring the code, constantly restructuring it. Yes, I was learning a lot, and AI is the one that got me. I mean, I did one of those line count things, not counting the system code crap that you get, which if I had that, it would say I had like, I don't know what it was, 500,000 lines of code, but I don't count that garbage because that's stuff that the software pulls in. Unity has all of its stuff, and Go and all these different things that are just setup garbage. So I had it filter out all that. And I just says, of my code, of my lines, of my files that I created, how much code have I written? And so far I'm about, I think it had me at upwards of 200,000 lines of code. So yeah, I've written a lot of code in the last year. And and now I've got it built in a way that I pretty much know everything that's going on. I understand what's happening and all this because I have good programming knowledge. So understanding what it's trying to do, I still may not understand fully how code, how Go, like if somebody says, go write this thing and Go without AI, I'd probably be like, I could probably get going a little bit, but I'd probably have to do a lot of looking up because I don't think I fully have memorized all the syntax, and there's a few things that throw me off. Working with Mongo throws me off. And then I took like 2 or 3 weeks off, and I created this tool called ClickUp Link. I use ClickUp for my project management so that I can track my project. And but I hated going back and forth to ClickUp to manage it, to go in, create tasks, come back, try to work a task, go back there, work on something, come back here. And I go, this is dumb and it's really tedious, and it was bugging the heck out of me. And I wanted a project. I wanted to be able to keep track of my project flow. So you can see all of the things I'm working on. These are all, some of it's in progress, some of it's in design mode. They all have some items underneath them. But so I created this tool called ClickUp Link that allows me to add all of my tasks from ClickUp right here in my code, and then I can track them right here, showing off what I have. And if I want to go to one, I just click on it, and it takes me over to that ClickUp link and say, hey, what do you want? I want to work on this one. So these ones are all in review, so that doesn't matter. But these in development ones are the ones that I want to go, fix and get working. So I would put this in and go check it out, see where I'm at. And it's associated at the code space that I want to work on. So it takes me to that piece of code that I put it in. So I'm working on these offensive skills, and this takes me over here and shows me which ones I have in testing mode. And my in development skill, rush awareness, which is the one I'm working on right now. But yeah, so, and then once they're all done, I can mark them complete and clear everything that I want to that's completed out of the system. It'll take them all off my code. But in the meantime, I can go and then change it. Like if I was working on a team of people, I could just change who's assigned to this, and it puts me in there. And then if anybody else was to load this task, they'll go, oh, Ken's working on this, so maybe I should go work on something else. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like it. It's just making my life so much easier. It's so much easier to track my, plus I get to have tasks stored for everything I'm doing. So I now have, so even if I'm just, this is the thing I want to do, a to-do, I can create this link, this ClickUp link thing. It's a Visual Studio Code extension. That was fun, right? That was a lot of AI help on that one. I mean, AI kept screwing it up, and I had to keep tweaking it. It took me a long time to work out all the bugs, but it's going pretty solid right now. Still got a couple little quirks, but most of them, they're all kind of like, they can be worked around, or it's not significant, not like they had been. All right, so anyway, so we got get sack yards lost. I gotta go over to my offensive. Get offensive skill stat. Oh, sack. Oh, I haven't done that one yet. All right. Sack yards lost. All right. And no, it's not gonna be that. Rush awareness. This is going to be get scale and then we got to go down here, assuming I don't use it somewhere. So coverage awareness actually ended up with a lot of stuff. It was actually way more complicated than I expected, but I don't know that rush awareness needs to be as complicated. So I'm just using sack, time sacked, and sack yards lost. What other skill can I do? Yeah, I think that's it. This is a pretty simple one, I think. Because I think my rush awareness logic here is just using pass to sack ratio. Oh, that's right. I need attempts. That's right, because of the frequency. That's right. I forget. Pass attempts. Now we got to figure out. So I got pass attempts. Well, let's go. All right. Well, let's get those other numbers in here first. We're gonna go. Let's see. Sacks per attempt equals times sack divided by pass attempts. And then same thing with this one. Okay. So those are going to be percentages. So what I'm thinking is, no, actually, you know what? This, no, that's not pass attempts. That needs to be divided by time sacked. Right, that's better. So now the question is, so my sacks per attempt is going to be pretty small. I mean, they get sacked one out of every, I mean, worst case scenario, what? Some of these guys get sacked 50 or 60 times. That's like up in the high end. Some guys have been sacked as little as like 14 times. It's like 1 per 100. So, right? So it's going to be like 0.14. So it's going to be pretty little. So 0.14 on the sacks per attempt. And then, but I can't imagine that. So what I might do is set the rush awareness to whatever their sacks, yards lost per sack. I think I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to scale it. So we're going to go. Let's see. So the smaller that number is, the smaller amount of the sack yard loss. Okay, so we're going to have sack yards lost per attempt. Oh, sack yards lost per sack. Let's call it per sack. And then we're going to go. sack yards lost per sec times sacks per attempt. Oops. The other one? Nope, sacks. And then I think I want to scale this. So the bigger the number, so your rush awareness is going to be the inversion of this. So let's just do this. We're going to go rush awareness. Value, max value. I don't want to scale it 0 to, well, it's probably going to be more. No, I guess it won't be more than 1. But I'm going to say invert this is true. Yep, true. All right. Let's go see what happens if my test works here. Get rush awareness. What do we got? Anything? Blew up. Oh, I got some assertion failures, but that's probably because some of these have 0 on them. All right, so who's got good rush awareness here? David Gerard. The vascularity. The vascularity. Referring to my veins sticking out. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what you're referring to there. Oh, that is what you're talking about. Blood vessels. You know what brings out my veins? Being me. I've always been veiny. I don't know why. Especially this arm. This arm is crazy veiny. I tell you what, when I'm doing a blood draw, the nurses love me. They're like, wow, this is gonna be easy, which is good for me too, right? I mean, the last thing you want is a nurse going, nope, nope. It's like, okay, hold on. But yeah, I've got quite a bit. I've got some significant veins. No shortage there. I have had a nurse or two struggle to find my veins because I don't know, for whatever reason, some days, but it's rare, very rare. Most of the time they're just like, I am a perfect, what do you call it, training dummy. When they have the new trainee who's trying to do blood draws, they go, hey, you come over here and practice on this guy. You should be able to get it in one try. And I'm like, wait, she's practicing? Somebody's got to practice, and you're easy. It's like, don't. I mean, needles don't bother me that much, but I still don't like getting poked. still, still painful. Sometimes I do watch them though, because I do it just to prove to myself it's not that big of a deal. They say don't look. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then they stab it in there, and I'm like, I try not to jump, test myself, but I do. Just try not to jerk my arm. That's what you don't want to do. The rest of me jumps. All right, let's go over to my Get QB skills test, and we got rush awareness, which is the one I'm working on, and set QB skills with the name David Gerard, which is the player name. Selecting QBs for coverage. All right, so rush awareness stat. Awareness skill. Nope. Oh, here we go. Name. Let's put in a gap here of some kind. T-dog. Just so I can see what's going on. It's too hard to read these. I want a gap. And I gotta go set the I'm getting a couple assertion errors. I think that's what these are. Cannot compare type float. What? Oh, is skill not a float? Yeah, these are my well, these are my tests. This is the stuff I'm running down here are my tests I'm running. But I don't have a bunch of test cases set up because I don't exactly know what I'm looking for. I mean, I'm just trying to see what the numbers come out as. So it's pulling random stats from my database and pulling and setting up users. And then I'm like looking to see how the numbers look, because there are probably going to be a need for tests that are more situation driven, but that's not what these are. These are just values, and I'm trying to come up with I want to come up with a consistent range of good to bad, because then I have to create in-game, so I have two values that need to be applied to these. One of them is rating, and then that rating is going to get taken and pulled into in-game, what I call it, an in-game function value, which basically means I convert the rating into a number that works in conjunction with the other stats that it has to go against. For example, tackling is a value of all of the defensive players, right? So, or anybody who's tackling has to use their tackle value. And break tackle is a number that's an adjustment to the tackle effect. So making it a less chance of success. So when a stat rolls or an attempt to tackle takes effect, the break tackle skill will lessen the chance of the tackle skill from happening. Now, in general, tackles are made. I mean, more often than not, tackles are made. If they weren't, there'd be lots more points scored than there are. But there's also a lot of tackles that get broken. So probably there's maybe I'd probably say less than 20%, less than 10% of plays or tackle attempts are avoided. And as a result of that fact, it's like you're just reducing their odds of success. So break tackle is it's an adjustment to tackle. So I got to make those numbers work. So basically the adjustment that is break tackle is going to be little, and the ability to tackle is going to be big. And then when the odd check runs, and it's going to go, okay, was the tackle made against the value that the game requires in order for success. It attempts, failure, and then I have to create these basically unit test logs that says capture all of the tests, all of the break tackle attempts against all the ones that have happened, and kind of get a feel for how many are successes. If they're not succeeding at a pretty high rate, that means my game might be unbalanced a little bit. So I might need to tweak how some of those values work. Either you have to increase the tackle value, or I have to lower the break tackle value, or even the test value or the comparative value has to be changed. So it's all about odds, creating the right amount of randomness, because you don't want it to be so bad that you're like, okay, my guy never makes a tackle, or he never blah blah blah. I mean, it should be relatively close to real life, right? So if you have completions, can be anything, right? There's going to be percentage of it. Completions can be anything. But if you've got like the best quarterback in the league, he's probably not completing more than 70 or 80% of his passes normally. On the average, he's probably not doing better than 70% or so. That's on the high end, 70 to 80, I think. A bad QB could be down around 60, 50, but that's considerably less. But if you've got guys, like all your worst guys are making completions at a 70 or 80% rate, and your best guys are doing 90% plus, that's probably broken, right? So you gotta adjust. You're either gonna have to fix the hands value or the pass defense value, or I have to fix the quarterback passing value, accuracy kind of scenarios. So there's a lot of little things, and I'm creating all of these modifier values that all of my functions they all have some amount of modifier values in them, or the scale or the ratings values have modifiers in them, which basically just say, this is my control value. If I don't like how these are working, I can adjust this control value and everybody gets set, because they're all being scaled on each other. So if I've got 100 receivers and they're all making catches way too frequently, like even beyond normal, then I tweak that. I could lower the modifier value, and all of them proportionally drop down, so that their odds of catching become less. So the other option is I can adjust the pass defenses. Maybe these guys just aren't knocking enough passes down. Maybe that's the problem. So I'd have to increase the pass defense. Or, there's a lot of little things, and every one of these skills is going to have to be able to be tweaked in a way. And then I'll have a comparative. Every one will have a comparative. Maybe the problem isn't even the skill itself. Maybe I just need to raise the odds of success scenario, and that could fix both, But it's kind of like I have to have, okay, how many passes have been defensed? How many passes have been caught? How many passes have just been misthrown? All that stuff. And then I kind of like compare to what's normal, what's in the NFL, what's happening out there on the norm. Is my standard deviation kind of close? Am I hitting that space of, okay, this is about right. I'm hitting, 60%. Every year is going to be a little different by a certain amount. But the more you have, the more that deviation can be pretty close to accurate. And then you can tweak and make sure that people kind of come out the same. And it's got to be kind of league wide, right? I mean, you can't if just one guy's having a great time, that's not, what's the problem there? Is it because maybe he's just playing bad people? I don't know. But if the standard deviation of the league is saying, on the norm, we're hitting about right, then it shouldn't matter that one guy's having a great time. Because I do have it set up. Your internet is less exploded. I do have it set up where players can be, they can be great. There are things that make players, excel. So I'll have to have my testing algorithms constantly being under review, And then I want to put in, eventually I'll even put in some code that says, okay, I have all these stats going off. You know, maybe I'll even have it send me a notice. You know, when people are playing my game regularly, I might have it call out certain things and send me a report that says, passes have been getting completed way too often, or there's way too many sacks in the game. You know, I'll have my thresholds. You know, you expect at most an occasional, most games shouldn't have more than a couple of sacks. But if, you know, you're constantly having games that are 6, 7 sacks or more, like, okay, those are supposed to be anomalies, not not a standard affair. It does happen, but it's not supposed to happen all the time. So I mean, something has to get tweaked. Maybe I have to up the blocking on my player, on my offensive line, or all my players. They have to get better at blocking. So I up the blocking threshold, or I have to drop the evade tackle threshold so they're not evade block threshold. So there's all kinds of ways to fix things. I just have to create those things as I'm going to, and eventually I'll have all these little tools that hopefully will call out anything that's outside of my standard deviation. So anyway, that's what's going on. So yes, I have tests. That's what I'm running right now. This is one of my unit tests. But I don't know what it is with me. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But there's a lot of developers out there who do unit tests that use mock data. And I hate mock data. I can't conceive of the usefulness of mock data. I mean, everywhere I've been uses it. So it's obviously got a purpose. But all mock data will do is tell you that your code is syntactically functioning, because the data is nonsense. I mean, yes, you could try to make up all the possible scenarios in your mock data, right? But you can't. I mean, you can't make up data. There's too many. I mean, the amount of things that could happen in a football game are like infinite. And for me to try to even conceive of the idea that I can come up with every test case that says, okay, if it's this piece of data, I'd put this in there. If this is going to happen, honestly, I just rather use real data, have my functions and running, and whenever it's in process, even have some of these constants keeping track of what's going on, and even have some loop tests which go through and just say, hey, run me, like I did here. Like these functions here are going out and getting multiple QBs. It's doing 5 of them. 5 QBs. Got Aaron Rodgers, Tavares Jackson, Alex Smith, Tom Brady. Yes, these is old data. But it allows me to kind of see what their rush awareness is. His is 0.987. This down here will actually tell me what the high is. 9817. So Tom Brady's got a really high rush awareness, or at least comparatively to these other guys. So it got 0.2 all the way up to 1. So this, if I converted this to straight up rating, this would be like a guy with a 22 rush awareness, and this guy with a, 0.98, which is near perfect. But I don't think I have anybody that high. I could probably raise the. I don't know how close he'd actually be to perfect if I scaled it higher, like went from 0 to 2 instead of 0 to 1. Right now, everybody's being crushed into a 1. So I don't know if that's the best way. 0.98 is really high. And that means he would be near perfect as far as that goes. And I'm not sure that I really believe that. Oh, and I have code. Oh, it's the same one. Okay, so I have code in my application that adjusts the min and the max, which can actually change how players are scaled. So I like to run it a couple different times and make sure I'm getting kind of adjusting that min max. 9824. Wow, that's pretty high. Who's that one? Philip Rivers? Is he the one? Oh no, he's only 6. 2-1. Aaron Rodgers is 2. Wow, Aaron Rodgers is only a 2-1. Eek. That's not so good. 0.4. 0.96. Vince Young? Oh. Okay, so Vince Young was a scrambler. And he probably has a lot of rushing yards. And so rushing yards, not rush awareness, different thing. Rush awareness is the pass rush coming at you. Rushing yards are how far you ran, or running yards, I guess you could call them. But so Vince Young, being a scrambler, probably had a pretty good year of just sack yards lost, pass attempts. So he had 36 yards lost. Ooh, look at this guy. Ben Roethlisberger had 348 lost yards. Ew. So he never ran. I don't think Big Ben was never really much of a runner. So yeah, how many times did he get sacked? 50 times. Whoa. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about this, but she has 259 pass attempts. That's still pretty good. He did play 12 games. Okay, well, I guess that's so bad. I usually scale people based on how much they actually played. But 259 attempts in 12 games, that's like most of the season anyway, so that's probably fine. Peyton Manning, what's his rush? I bet his isn't very high either. No, he's got a huge rush awareness, which is great for a guy who never runs the ball. But he had a great release, so he rarely got sacked. That's actually the highest of anybody, 0.984. I don't have Drew Brees in here. I wonder what his is. So I got a minimum of 0. Huh. Who's got a 0? That shouldn't happen. I can't imagine. Who's got a 0? Rush awareness, 0. Ben Roethlisberger had a 0? Okay, this is... Alright, something's wrong with this. Alright, what's the math here? Because he had 300... A 0 is just like really bad. 348 yards lost on 506 attempts. Alright, so let's go look at my code. I gotta go see why is Big Ben getting nails for terrible stuff here. This 0's really bad. It's really hard to get a 0. Shouldn't be happening, especially with a quarterback who plays all the time. All right, so sacks per attempt. So sacks divided by pass attempts. So he's got a very small 50 divided by 506 is probably like what? 1.1. So it's like 1/10 of the time. And then he lost 348 yards divided by the time sacked, which is 50. So that's like what is that, like 6, almost 7, 6.8, something like that. So we got 6.8 would be his yards lost per sack times 0.1, which is of his 50. It was like about 0.1, right? Times 0.1. So that'd be like a tiny little amount. 0.1 of 6 yards is small, but it's not 0. What am I missing here? Times sacks per attempt. All right, man. You have a good one, Crossbow. Till next time. Take it easy. You too. Good to catch up a little. Get your sleep. I'm sure I'll see you around. Or, see your name around. You too, man. So we're going to try this. How long? Oh, it's 1:10. You know what? Speaking of, I usually keeping my streams to an hour, hour and a half tops because, and what that means is I might be back a little bit later, but for now, I'm going to stop, get some more work done, make some progress, and I will be back. If